I just binged the last 3 episodes of MoonKnight just to catch up, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, you did. Well, and dude, that is such an awesome experience to be able to binge watch 3 episodes because I feel like this show just kind of keeps you on your toes. Maybe
Is
not episode two. Episode two was like probably the lowest episode for me, but three, four, and five for me have been like the best episodes.
the latest episode for me just seemed very far fetched. I think it's meant to be, but it was just it got a little too Metal Gear
To
Solid 2 ish. If you ever played that game.
I haven't, but isn't Oscar Isaac gonna play Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie?
No way.
Yeah, I think it.
That's
I
in the
think
talks.
it's meant to be. It's supposed to
Wow.
be preparation, I guess. Then.
Interesting. But yeah, it was interesting because I'm pretty sure for you, like you were thinking about the hippo, right? Like, oh, it was the
Yeah,
hippo.
for a whole week.
And then for me, I'm like, okay, next episode. Oh, this
Yeah,
hippo is Tower Red, whatever. Like the
you
mystery.
got your answers. You got your answers. Your questions answered right away.
And it
Uh,
was weird because it went straight to the hippo, and I was like, I didn't even get time to think about it. And I was like, what the heck? Talking hippo? What's going on here? And I
yeah.
mean, they explain it later, but it was just, it got way too
So
weird for me.
you know what I think. When I was watching this last episode, all I could think about was Shutter Island. Have you ever seen that with
Yes.
Leonardo
Yep.
DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo?
Yep.
If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend that you guys watch it after this podcast or after this video. Um, but like all the back and forth and stuff like that, I was just like, I I think it's real, but I also think it's fake. Like it's so, to me, it was super interesting. Just the way they filmed it, the way he like thinks about his life and his choices and whether or not he's living a real life or not. Like I feel like it throws you off as
Yeah,
a viewer.
there was a couple times when I couldn't figure out what was real or not. You know, like
Yeah.
as is Mark the fake one? Is Steven the fake one? And then is Dr. Harrow actually there, or is this thing
And
that he concocted to try to fool Mark into thinking that he's not a superhero? Or there's like
well,
so
it's
many questions.
I know, and they do the same in the comic.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, so in the comic, the story also keeps going back and forth between like Mark and or like Moon Knight and like this alternate reality in a psych ward. Uh, so it's like the show's actually not that far off from the comic, which is super interesting considering that a lot of it is actually not the same at all.
Hmm.
Cause like what's some of the stuff that you know of Moon Knight? Did you know anything about Moon Knight at
No,
all?
it wasn't until I think I saw the trailer, then I started looking into it. But then I didn't even read into it. I was just like, oh, okay. I just wanted to get an idea of what the comic looked like in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the graphics, or the art in this case,
Yeah,
and that was pretty much as far as I went.
interesting. So, just disclaimer: I actually haven't read the comics. Like Moon Knight is new to me too, and that's I think I said this before, but it's one of the reasons I was really excited for the show is because it's something new that we haven't seen before, and despite me loving everything Marvel has done with the superheroes that we're familiar with, like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Spider Man, like seeing some fresh stuff that I had never even heard about was awesome to me. Um, and now as the show keeps going, I mean, I've been loving every episode. I do agree that some moments are a little bit slower and some are a little bit more intense. Um, but it's been super interesting. And then I looked it up. I wanted to compare it to the comics a little bit, and I've heard other people talk about it as well. But Um, here's some main differences that we found out about Moon Knight, the TV show, versus Moon Knight in the comics. So first of all, Moon Knight in the comics, he doesn't really have superpowers or super strength or anything like that. In the
Really?
comics, Mark Mark Spector, he is a mercenary that ends up killing or being in the group that kills the girl's dad, right?
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh, this is not what I signed up for." And what's his name? It's Bushman, I think it's his name.
Yeah, Bushman.
Bushman's the name of the bad guy, right? He basically like kills him or leaves him for dead, and he actually dies, but then he he resurrects. He like comes back to life, and he's completely healed. And then he's like, the great god Khonshu like saved me, like he spared my life. And then him as a human dedicates himself to, like fight crime. But here's the funny thing: his other personality, Steven, he's not a quirky like museum person. He is actually a billionaire. And so he utilizes his money and stuff like that to basically to be able to do what he does as a vigilante. And he the
He's like a
first suit
Batman
in the first
almost.
say what?
He's almost like a Batman then.
Yeah, exactly. Like he gets he gets the cape from a statue of Khonshu, and that's his suit. That's how the first comic happens. And then like you said, he's like Batman, and so people were comparing him to Batman, and so then they started changing him a little bit to, well, maybe he's not the same. Maybe he does have superpowers. So in like future iterations of the comic, he gets killed and resuscitated again, and then he like starts to get like all these like, a cooler suit, better superpowers. But it's interesting because we have no billionaires in this show. But also, there's a third personality that we've been teased about throughout the show. His name is Jake Lockley. And he's supposed to be like, I think he's a taxi driver.
Yep.
But the reason why I know he's been teased and he's not like I know that he's part of the show, it has to be, is because one, the first hint in episode 1, he was supposed to go on a date with this girl and eat meat.
Oh,
but we all thought that this was actually Mark that set up the date, but Mark is married and is trying to protect the other girl, so why would he ask this girl on a date? So now we think
true.
that it should have been somebody else. And then there's a part in episode 3 where Steven wakes up and he just killed the 3 people on the roof.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mark, why did you do that? And Mark's like, I didn't do that. I didn't kill anybody. And they just kind of leave it like that.
Yeah,
and then the last hint is when he's in the asylum and he finds when Mark finds Steven in the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, they're walking down the aisle and they see another sarcophagus
one, right?
shaking.
Yeah.
That's him. It has to be.
But it's weird they didn't even address it. They've been hinting at it for so long, and then how many episodes is this show?
6.
And they're supposed to present this third one all in, I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know what they're doing because I thought that he was going to be revealed in this episode.
Yeah.
When they're, and spoiler, by the way, but I'll put that in the title, but in case you haven't seen it, like, you probably shouldn't be listening to this or watching this. When she puts the 2 hearts on the scale and the scales are shaking, I'm like, it's because it's incomplete. It needs the 3rd heart because it's 3 people in one. But they never show him, and I got frustrated because I was like, I want to see Jake Lockley. I want to see this personality.
But it did balance, though, didn't it? When he
when Steven died.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Did he die?
Can.
You don't think so?
Nah.
What
Or
do you think
maybe
is going to happen?
I don't know. I think he's gonna be saved somehow. I mean, we started with the show with Steven,
Mm-hmm.
right? That'd be like, I guess it is like Walking Dead when they killed Rick.
They killed
then-
Rick?
Oh shoot!
Wait, they killed Rick?
No, they didn't kill him.
I thought he just left. I thought he was just like, oh, I'm going to take
Yeah,
my
you're
own path.
right. Yeah. They just left.
I haven't
I
gotten
just
that
assumed
far.
he's dead, but he's
Okay.
he's alive apparently. But it's like that, and the show kind of sucks after he left. Same thing with MoonKnight. They would not let Steven die.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm sure he'll come back. I mean, that's actually not that big of a mystery, but I am curious to know how he's going to come back. I'm curious to see if we're going to get Jake Lockley back.
I do have a question about that, because
About Jake?
the afterlife, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing about the balancing is that your soul. Does that mean that Mark and Steven are separate souls when they should be just one soul?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually.
Like they're implying that Steven is a
he's
whole
got more
separate person.
He's got another, like, he created a soul within himself.
Right? I don't know if that's
Well,
possible.
well, that's the funny thing. When Steven dies, because we don't know if he's really dead, the scale's balanced,
Yeah.
which means that, I mean, if you look at it subjectively, that means that that's what needed to happen because it's only one soul. So with all these different souls, like the other two personalities being alive, he wouldn't have been able to enter because it's impossible for three entities to enter for the body of one, for like one soul.
Right.
Right? I don't know.
I don't know, because now
that's how it
Jake-
makes sense. That's how it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Because I was confused about it. I was like, wait a second. If Steven dies, who's dead? Is it the actual body of Steven Mark, or is it the idea of Steven is dead?
I think it's the idea.
And then the zombies, who are they actually pulling into the sand, and to do what? Is it just the idea of
that
Steven?
is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think at this point it's more about symbolism. I think all of it, the whole episode is like symbolism after symbolism after symbolism. Like you go down this psychological path
Yeah.
of finding out who Steven is and how who Mark is and how he created the entity of Steven. Like I thought that was actually kind of cool. I mean, as sad as it is, as sad as this episode was,
Yeah.
I feel like being able to see why and how he created the new entity, and then everything that happens around them, I think it's all like very symbolic, including like him getting shot twice in the chest. That to me seemed like a symbolism of like, I'm gonna shoot you and kill you once for Steven and shoot you and kill you once for Mark.
I like that.
I think
That's
I
a
think
nice,
I worded that weird.
astute observation.
Yes, dude. Just pulling out the thesaurus today.
But yeah, that was the one thing, because I was getting some. Did you ever see the movie? What is that one Pixar movie?
Shutter Island.
No, it was the. It was the one with the moods and the different personalities.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Remember that part where they were like in the sandy area? I was like, oh, I was getting some major vibes of that, where the lost people are in the sand.
Yeah. Wait, was that Inside Out or was that Soul?
Oh shoot. Never mind, it's Soul.
Yeah, it's Soul. That's Soul. It
Get my
actually makes sense. It's called Soul.
Yeah. But yeah, that is true.
um,
Yeah.
so how are you feeling about this show? Like, where would you rate this in comparison to the other TV shows you've seen?
I'm gonna give you an unsatisfactory answer here.
Oh no.
I don't know what it is, but when things get too fantastical, I
Mm-hmm.
start to tune out. Like there was a point where I think once they got on the ship and he started fighting the zombies and he started turning the ship, there was my mind just started saying, "What is this? Like this it's kind of because they introduced the concept of the psych ward, right? And
Yeah.
that was already like too much. That was already a lot to handle. And then they introduced the afterlife, and I was like, holy moly, it's like way too many concepts in one. Even though really it's the same thing because the psych ward is just their own realm within their
Right.
mind.
It's like, well, yeah.
But there was a point where I think it was at that point I was like, wow, this is. I don't know. I started tuning out. I don't know.
Really, huh?
I think it's
Um,
because maybe because I binged it, right?
Instead of taking it in small doses.
Right? And because the first two episodes seemed like a very standard MCU show, right? Where you have MoonKnight, you have the fight scenes, yada yada. And then it goes into the second portion of the show with episodes 3, 4, and 5. And then you have like episode 4, which is like became like this Indiana Jones type thing.
Yeah.
And
It's like a mix of Indiana Jones and The Mummy.
yeah, right. And then they go into this whole psychological. It's just like so many genres in one. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I like that they started playing with or kind of getting the origin of the multiple personalities portion, but I think that's when it started. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing interest.
Well, it's a good thing it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But so comparing it to the other shows, though, like, because what are the other shows that you've seen that Marvel has put out on Disney Plus?
Let's see, Hawkeye. Did I
Mm-hmm.
tell you I didn't even finish that yet?
Yeah, you told me that.
I think it's just the whole Marvel thing. Maybe I'm getting marveled out.
So you are like at that point where it's like, like I
Yeah.
just don't care as much.
Like I was excited. Like when first two episodes of Moon Knight came out. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started I'm just like marveled out, I think. If it was I was watching it with Brittany and I was like telling her, I was like, I think I'm just watching the same show just with a different dressing. Like different set pieces and stuff. The whole Egyptian stuff is really cool, but I don't know. I don't want to be a downer here.
Such a downer. No, that's fine. I wonder how the ratings are. I haven't actually looked at the ratings. I know I looked at it for the first episode and I think it was pretty high. And from what I've seen on like comment threads and like discussions and stuff like that, people really seem to enjoy Oscar Isaac as Mark Spector / Moon Knight, and I agree. I think if you well, no, I'm just not going to complicate it. I think he's doing an excellent
Oh,
job
I think so
at
too.
portraying all these different personalities. And when I say many, I'm talking about like Mark, Steven, and even his fight scenes, like as Moon Knight. I think he does a really good job at being all of them. Story wise, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more fantastic. I think part of it, and especially with this last episode, is the fact that we spent so much time in the afterlife, but
Yeah.
this afterlife is like we've gotten we've looked at this before in Black Panther and in Endgame and Infinity War, I think. So like Black Panther, where he goes and visits his ancestors and stuff like that,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
That's why the hippopotamus, what's her name?
Tower
Tarawea?
Towerette? Toweray?
Tawaray.
Something
Yeah.
like
She talks about it. She talks about like how there's all these different like planes that people can go to and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, cool. So they've I feel like they've made references um to Black Panther a couple of times. Because even in the Pyramid of Giza, you see the puma or the panther, I
Oh,
guess.
really? Oh, was that what
Yeah.
that giant thing when they climb down, right?
Yeah.
And they see that giant. Wow. I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
I mean that's my speculation. I mean, when I saw that the first time, I was like, "Whoa, Black Panther," and it kind of makes sense because even the costume, I feel like it has sort of the same feel. I'm not gonna say that it's vibranium, but the way it looks, I feel like it's like if you have Black Panther and Moon Knight in one picture together, I'd be like, "Oh, they probably came from like the same place or something." I don't know. Africa. They're both from Africa,
Design
right?
wise, yeah. No, yeah, I can see that.
um, and I don't know. Maybe the reason why I liked it so much is more because of the psychological aspect of it. The whole, ooh, is this the reality then, or is it the other reality? Like
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that portion. I really enjoyed the psych ward stuff. But then once they got into
the boat
the boat stuff, and I was like, go back to
and the
the psych ward
zombies,
stuff
and
because that's more interesting, you know,
yeah,
the human aspect. I think
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's probably what it is. If you saw, have you seen the show Mr. Robot?
I have not. It's on my list of shows to watch,
It's a
but I
really
haven't
good
seen
show.
it.
If you enjoyed the psych ward portion, you would probably enjoy Mr. Robot.
It's good
And
to
it has
know.
hacking in it too.
Hacking,
Like hacking
like
and yeah,
computer hacking.
all that stuff. Yeah, that's how you hack.
Yeah, that's hacking right there.
CSI style. Uh,
Um,
but yeah, I
so
hope they it seems like they've addressed it, right? Is this still gonna continue? How did it end? I don't even remember. This is what happens when I binge. I forget how it shows. How did episode 5 end?
so it ended with Steven dying, and then the scales balance,
Oh, that's right.
and then Mark is like, "No, wait, we gotta go back. We gotta go back," and then everything around him turns into like his heaven or whatever. So he's surrounded
Oh
by
yeah, he's in
fields.
the field. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that might be the moment when he's conquered himself. I guess he's conquered his past.
And then
It's a
that's when he
symbol
was
for him
able to go
conquering
back.
his past, and now he's gonna fight the bad guys now. It's like
Uh,
Goku coming out of his time capsule thing.
all right. So what's your rating for this?
I would say this is more. Give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4 out of 10. I'm like, bruh. 4 out of 5.
Nah.
That's not bad. I think I would just be a little bit higher. Probably a 4.5, mostly because there's a couple of things that I'm like, all right, that's, I mean, meh. But for the most part, I've really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I think it's probably top two, and I haven't been able to decide which I like more. If I like Loki or Moon Knight.
I would say I
And
like
one,
Loki more.
yeah, I think I like Loki a little bit more.
Yeah.
I really love WandaVision, but the fact that they dragged us through 2 black and white episodes, and then they had a boner joke that brings
Bonner.
it down to, yeah, Ralph Boner. uh, am I allowed? Yeah, I can say that, right?
Yeah, now that we've given the context of the name, it should
Yeah,
be
okay.
fine.
The Ralph Boner name joke. Uh, yeah, I think WandaVision falls to number 3 for me, and I think Moon Knight's number 2. The other shows have been fine. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's to me they're just more normal Marvel shows
Yeah.
that just fill in like gaps for me. Moon Knight to me is new, and now I'm really curious to see where are we going with this? Like, what's next? Like, are we gonna see Moon Knight in a movie, or is it just gonna be strictly its own TV show that's separate from everything else MCU? So is this technically not MCU?
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be like I think throughout the show, I was thinking, how are they gonna fit this into the MCU? Is it gonna fit into the MCU?
Yeah, I'm actually starting to wonder if they're creating shows to stand out on their own instead of like
Yeah,
connecting everything all the time.
yeah. That I
But
think that'd be the best approach.
yeah, what do you guys think though? Like I want to hear people's opinions on the show. How like have you liked it so far? Is it the best show ever, or the worst show ever? Is it confusing? And uh, and do you know, or have you heard, or do you think that they're gonna bring in all these characters that we've seen in the later movies into another type of Avengers movie? I'm
Yeah, let
curious
us
to
know what you
know.
think.
But
Are you also marveled out like myself?